am Hannah Birdsong, and I am an actress, screenwriter, and acting coach. And I work with children ages 6 to 17. So that's just my short bio.
Yeah, yeah, and for those that are coming in, hopefully y'all, come on in. I am Danny Guevara. I am the CEO and acting instructor of Action Applied Acting, and I mainly deal with adults. So I let Hannah handle the children, and I go ahead and coach the adults. Most of my coaching is done online. So
Yeah.
that's a little bit about you know my company, what I do, or what I do. I really ain't go in and talk about the company as much, but yeah. So
And how long have you been acting?
um I've been acting off and on for 16 years now. I started in 2008. On and off and on for 16 years acting. And but I've like now I'm like fully, that's what I do. It's just all acting. Like when I say off and on, it's like I worked here and then I was doing, working all over the place.
Mm,
But yeah, now it's pretty much, full time.
yeah,
Full time and coaching.
got you.
Coaching.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. How long have you been coaching, Hannah?
I have been coaching, I want to say 2018. So it was
Hmm.
2004. What is that? 6, 7 years?
I'll agree. I don't know.
That time is like but yeah, probably about 6 or 7 years. And
Hmm.
I started acting as a child, so I was probably like 8 or 9 when I actually started acting. And
Yeah.
so kind of saved, did it on and off throughout the years, and then got into coaching.
Mm,
So really loved
yeah.
this. Yes, I found my thing. So
Uh-huh. You found it when you were young, the acting part. Is it different now? Like, do you see like when you were doing it before, like the changes, or is it
mhm.
pretty much the same?
It's definitely a lot of changes. I mean, just the industry in general. I feel like at that point, the industry was more kind of, trying to think of the word, like straight laced. If
Mm.
that makes sense. But this was like the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
things were just different, and a lot of times you didn't see a lot of people on screen that look like you. You know
Gotcha.
what I'm saying? So now the industry has made it like a priority to, incorporate different people, different races. Like back in the day, like tattoos were taboo
Mm.
in the industry. You know what I'm saying? People didn't get tattooed. I grew up, like going on auditions and people saying like, when you grow up, don't get any tattoos because, you might not get booked for this and you might not get booked for that. And now, it's not like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. And since you mentioned that, because that's something that I have to deal with, because I have a tattoo like right on my collarbone. It's like just right there.
mhm.
And when I got it, I didn't think nothing of it. And I was acting when I got it. Um, so now, like in my auditions, I would like either cover it up or I may like put some makeup or something, on it to cover it. But I do know also, I was filming on one set and they were asking me like, what is the tattoo and do I
Mm,
need, what is it like? You need the tattoo artist permission to show it and all that stuff. So that's the word of advice for those that are out there, especially the adults, that are legally of age to get tattoos. When you do get tattoos, just be mindful of the placement. Don't get a huge tattoo on your face unless you go,
right.
that's just crazy. But don't get a huge tattoo on your face unless you have the makeup for it. But also get something from that tattoo artist that says, that you can use their work in on these television shows and movies. So that's one thing I didn't think about because my other tattoos I got, I was before I even jumped into acting, so I wasn't thinking about any of that. But so I'm glad you brought the tattoos brought that up. Just make sure you're able to cover it.
Right.
Um, and then sometimes in the audition they will ask, "Do you have any tattoos or piercings?" So you
Yeah.
have to, list that. Like, do you have a nose piercing and a lip piercing and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned tattoos, because it's something to think about when you enter the industry. And also, yeah, because like if you have this tattoo, like let's say I have my wedding date on my collarbone. So every character is not gonna have this the wedding date on their collarbone. So you have to think about that. If you get a skull or something right here, every character you play is it gonna have the skull or your mama's name, on the show. So it's just things we have to think. Yeah, we gotta think about those things.
That's good. That's good. But I just wanted to say hey to everybody that has joined us.
Hey y'all.
Nicole in the building. Hey Danny, thank you for joining us. And it says bride.brave. So I hope I'm saying it right. But so thank you guys so much for joining us. If y'all have any questions, feel free to ask us questions. We'll be answering questions as we go along the live. So yeah, so thank y'all for joining us. And I guess we could just do the reintroduction since they weren't in here before.
Yeah.
Just so if you want to briefly introduce yourself again, Ms. Danny.
Yeah. Okay. So, hey, everyone that has joined. I am Danny Guevarez. I am the CEO, founder, acting coach. It's a one-man show over here at Action Applied Acting. I do everything there. So if you want to take any acting classes with me, I'm going to be the one that coach you. So, yes, I am been acting for off and on for 16 years. And that's what I do. I coach the adults. Sometimes, teenagers try to sneak in over, but my heart goes towards the adults that's wanting to get into the industry, and I just can navigate and show them how to do it.
They're grown folks. That's awesome. Hello everybody. My name is Hannah Birdsong. I am an actress, screenwriter, acting coach. I am the CEO of One for All Young Actors Studio. So I work primarily with ages 6 to 17. So I deal with the little ones. So if you are a child actor or a parent of a child actor and you are interested in taking lessons, feel free to reach out. I would love to help. So yeah, anytime I get adults, I always send a grown folks to Danny. I'm like, I love you, but that makes sense. So I just send them all over to Danny.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate that.
Yes. So awesome. So I did want to, so I'm glad we did, like I said, like you said, touch bases on the tattoos and everything, because that's super duper important. So I wanted to pivot to, because I get this question a lot. Like, what expenses will I have as a beginning actor? So what are some things that you're going to have to pay for? Because I hear people say, like, is it expensive acting, or does it cost a lot of money? How do I get started? What do I have to do? I don't have any money. Like, can I still get started? So we can just kind of, go through the expenses and some expenses you will have as a beginning actor. So I know for sure headshots. They have headshots.
Yes. Yes. You gotta have the headshots.
You have to have a
and professional okay, I'm gonna say acting headshots. And the reason why I took the professional off, okay, they need to look professional, but you don't have to spend thousands of dollars for acting headshots, especially if you're starting off. Right. If you're starting off trying to figure out if you are good, if this is something that you want to do, if you have a friend with a great camera, and they can, chop it up and, brush it out, do all that stuff so that the photo looks professional and that is of a standard, 8x10, something like that, of an acting headshot, then do that. Do not spend thousands of dollars starting off. So for acting headshots, it can range from, if it's your friend doing it, if it's your spouse doing it, it could be free to, we're here in Atlanta. So, Slingshot headshots, sometimes they do specials. It's like $35 to, $100 for one look. So you can find some pretty decent prices. But if you want to go ahead and splurge, then you probably will spend a couple hundred. Maybe 300 to 250, 300, something like that, for a photographer. Not saying Slingshots isn't. He's great. I use him all the time. All the time. So he's great. And those headshots, I do book things with those headshots. So it kind of varies. I guess it depends on who you want to work with as far as a photographer.
Right.
And and what your goal is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. So of course, like we're in Atlanta, so we have a lot more options than some people that are in smaller markets.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I've learned, sometimes people in those smaller markets do charge more because it's not as many options. So like everybody's a photographer. You can find good headshot photographers at a decent
Yeah.
price. Wouldn't pay any more than 200,
Mm-hmm.
like 50 at the most. And even with that, I need to be getting at least 2 or 3 looks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, there's students, there's student photographers, those that are wanting to get into, photography. So you can find someone that can take you some really good acting headshots, at least some headshots that you could put on your casting profile
right.
picture. Just something digital that looks good, because right now everything is digital. So if it looks good, in the thumbnail or, whatever, then go ahead and use that to at least start auditioning
Right.
so they can see something. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So just no selfies.
No, none of this.
Yeah, like it needs to be shot with a professional camera.
Hmm. Yep. No ring light in the eyes.
And no ring light, no heavy makeup. They want to see what you
Yes.
look like, fresh face.
Yes.
Wear your
Yes.
hair in a style that you would normally wear your hair in. So don't go and buy like a red wig down to your ankles,
Mm-hmm.
saying
Mm-hmm.
wear your hair normally. So wear the style that you would normally wear your hair
Yeah.
in, and
Yeah.
no
Know what?
bright colors,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Nothing distracting, because you want to
Yeah.
focus on your face.
Yeah.
So you don't
Exactly.
have patterns and things like that. So yeah, so I would say I wouldn't spend any more than about $200.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. You touched on a lot of things right there. I know we're talking about the expenses of it, but you don't have to hire a makeup artist. Sometimes the photographers, they do have like a makeup person on hand, but they're really usually doing light makeup. So, like you said, Hannah, just light makeup. I tell especially new actors, your first headshot should be a headshot that looks
Right.
like you. So no, don't go out and buy, like you said, a wig or anything. Not for your first headshot. If you wear your hair froed out how, mine is, then take your first picture like this, because they're going to want to see you be like you. Yeah, because if I go with my hair like straight and long extensions, and then they call me in or they want to see my audition,
Mhm.
and I got to hurry up and take those extensions out because I showed up in a fro.
Right.
Now, again, I'm talking to my new actors, because once you start getting into it, it's a little deeper. That's why I like coaching the adults. But starting out, however you look, let that be your first headshot, because a lot of times in your acting, especially starting out as an actor, the essence that's going to come out is the true you.
Right.
Until you start understanding how to develop into other characters, then you can start doing those other headshots. But just take a picture as close to you as possible, and just know that you are enough, because like one of my slogans is everybody is a character,
Mhm.
which is the truth. Everybody is a character. You're your own main character in your life, so
Right. Absolutely.
everyone can act.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great advice. Great advice. So what are some other expenses? So we have headshots, of course.
Hmm.
All right. So that would be your acting classes.
Yeah.
So of course, also can vary. So you can take in-person acting classes, or you can do virtual acting classes. So sometimes, depending if you do in-person or virtual, that could be a difference in price. Also, if you're doing one-on-one classes or you're doing like group coaching, that could be a
Hmm.
difference. Kind of got to see like what works for you.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like you said, those prices vary also. Like you can even audit classes, meaning you just sit in on a class and watch. Sometimes the instructor will, allow you to participate, but auditing is you just go in, you watch. Usually it's free. I have ran across a few if I wanted to audit in California that were like $25 just to
Right.
audit. But for the most part, it's usually it's been free to audit. So you can do that. Just sit in on a class and take as much notes as you can and learn from the other students that are in
Hmm.
there. Like you said, there's private coaching, group coaching. Private coaching hourly is probably going to be a little bit more,
Right.
because you know that instructor is dealing with one student opposed to 10 that can be in a class,
Right.
which you know they can charge a little bit less. Um, so yeah, it just kind of depends on what you're trying to do as an actor. I say do both. Do group coaching, do private coaching, one-on-ones, do virtual,
Mm-hmm.
so that you're able to take classes that are in New York or wherever you are in a different market, so you can learn, you know, to see how they do it.
Right.
And in person also do those, so you can actually feed off of someone how you would if you were like actually on set. So the prices, like I said, if you're auditing, can be free to about. Uh, I've seen maybe around between $200 and $400 for like 8-week classes that are group
Right.
classes. Um, so yeah, it just kind of varies. Some they have like intensive training and things like that. But with my coaching, I'm on here, so let me tell you my prices also. Uh, my group coaching I think is very affordable. I do $10 an hour for the group
Oh,
coaching.
yeah.
Yeah, very affordable, right?
That's really
Um, Private coaching is I do 30 minutes and I do an hour coaching. So it can be either $30 an hour or $30 30 minutes or $45 an hour.
okay.
So very affordable.
That's really
Um,
oh, for sure.
yeah, very, very affordable. So get in now before the prices go up. But yeah, those are my prices. Very affordable because I understand the grind when it comes to acting. And a lot of people that I get are usually new and they're trying to figure out, is this what I want to do? So I don't want to hit them over the head and they're still trying to figure out if this is what they're wanting to do. So prices can be as little as that to depending on, you know, who you're coaching under. Now, don't let that price fool you.
Hmm.
You say, you're gonna learn something.
Right.
You're gonna learn something. Yeah.
Right. No, that's good. I'm glad that you mentioned that because sometimes coaches and people who have been in the business for a long time, they may charge more, but don't look, if there's another coach that's, just getting started, has a new coaching business, definitely don't look down, on them either. You know,
Mm-mm.
can still definitely learn a lot from them as well. So that's really, really good that you mentioned that.
Mhm.
And audit. Definitely. If you can go sit in a class for free, do that as often as you can,
Yeah,
And then that's a good way to see which coach works for you because every acting coach is not going to be suitable for you. You
exactly.
know, so they may be really great at what they do, but personality wise, it might not mesh with who you are because there's some like in your face acting coaches and they can
Mm-hmm.
be aggressive and they're going to cuss you out and they're going to get what they need to get out of you, but it may be part of the process. And
Uh,
somebody like, that's not going to work for me.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's good to like sit in a class, get a feel for that coach, get a feel for the environment, see how you like it before you spend money. You don't
mm-hmm.
jump the first coach you see, oh, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and sign up. Because sometimes once you spend that money, that's it. You
Mm-hmm.
get it back. So definitely take your time and pick the right coach for you because that's super important.
Yes.
Who you
It's very important. Yeah, I had because I mean, even though I coach, I still, jump into a class every once in a while.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, the coach needs a coach. I want someone I can sit up under. So I tried this one person out. The first class, I was like, I mean, I understood their technique. I liked the technique what they were using, but I couldn't connect with them. It was like the words, their vocabulary was a little bit different. I'm like, I got to get a dictionary to figure out what you're talking about. So, even the teaching style, you have to see if that coach, if you can relate to them, if they can. It's like a therapist. especially
Mm-hmm.
one-on-one, one-on-one coaching. You kind of get deep when you start, getting into these characters, and it's like therapy. So you want to acting coach because you're dealing with your emotions. Like, we're dealing with your emotions. That's what acting is, right? Trying to figure out how to navigate your emotions within another character. So it's a lot of, like, without being a therapist, that's what it kind of seems like when we're coaching. So you have to find a coach that you can connect with, and you may tell some things that you don't want other people to know. So you have to be able to trust the acting coach with your emotions and your feelings and all of that.
That's good. That's really good. That's a good thing to point out, because when you are acting, sometimes you have to go into some like really deep, raw places,
Mm-hmm.
and so you do able to, trust those emotions with somebody.
Yeah.
So
And
good.
if you don't, then you can't really fully be in the moment, when you're acting, because it's like, I really don't want to go there because I really don't trust you.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
That is super important, super important. And I just want to say hey to everybody that has joined us. All right, for coming in. Thank you for joining the conversation. Remember, if y'all have any questions, make sure y'all drop us some questions. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have about the industry. We'll be more than answer. But since you said something really important and we were talking about money, all right,
Yeah.
let's pivot to industry scams, because there are a lot of scams out there,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the market that I work with child actors, because a lot of parents go in and they're just really green, and they have no idea where to start. They just know they have a child that is really talented and wants to act, and then they're riding in their car and they hear this commercial about, oh, come down to the Hilton and audition for Disney, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god. And then you get down there, all right, to auditions, and let me tell you, it don't matter how good or how bad your child was, they're going to tell you that your child is so cute and so great. And
Mm.
down and they're gonna say, okay, so we have packets. This packet is 3,000. This packet is 5,000. We can do X, Y, and Z for you. And yeah, that's not how the industry works, right? And
Mm-hmm.
people don't know that. They have
Yeah.
no idea that this is normal, and they spend thousands and thousands of dollars, and
Mm-hmm.
they get nothing. They have nothing
Yeah.
to show. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. And they would call them self agencies
mm-hmm.
also. Like, they would say this is a talent agent. And what we have to know is that agents don't get paid until you get paid. So if you are paying them ahead of time, then that's not how it goes. Now, some of these places you pay them and they're like, okay, we'll get your acting headshots, we'll give you classes and all that stuff. But then they promise you that you're going to be in a show, after you do all of this. But before you get to that show, you're like shelling out thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and don't know how to act
Right.
still. So yeah. So like I say, they will promise you an overnight success
Mm-hmm.
when nothing is really overnight, you guys. These people that, yeah, they seem like they came up overnight. I
Mm-hmm.
bet you they've had at least 10 years or so of experience.
Right.
Yeah, so it's definitely a grind, and it's definitely rubbing some elbows and networking with people. So again, these people can come to you and say you got to pay thousands of dollars for, and we just told you with acting headshots, you don't have to pay thousands of dollars for acting headshots. So they will tell you that you have to, pay this amount. Is John Casablanca a scam? This is from uh, Bray.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Dr. Bray, but Br Bray asked if John Casablanca is a scam. I've heard of them. I've never used
Oh,
them
just
or went to them, but you got the faces, so it look like you know something.
girl. Okay, I'm gonna say this. So when I first started coaching, I worked for a company. Oh, Braden. Hey,
Braden,
Braden.
okay. Sorry, Braden.
Worked for a company. I cannot say the name. They hired me on as an acting coach to work with their children and young adults. And it was not John Casablanca, but it was very a company along those lines.
Mm,
Now, when I first started working there, I had no idea the structure. I didn't know anything. I was just paid to teach the classes.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the process of the auditions and things like that. Now, I'm not gonna say a scam because you know kind of words can get you in trouble. But I would advise anybody, you know, John Casablanca, Barbizon, those type of companies. I wouldn't advise anybody to go through that process. I wouldn't, because I've had
Yeah.
students come to me that were in some of those companies or organizations, and they were like, "Yeah, I didn't really learn anything." Like,
Mm,
you know,
yeah.
they learned. But I had one student who was like, "We learned more about the etiquette side than actual like acting techniques."
Oh, okay.
You know,
Like how to act on set, like how to like the business mind of being on set, like the things you do and don't do, that kind of stuff is what they were
right?
teaching.
Kind of how to dress, like actual
Oh,
etiquette, dress as an
oh,
actor, um, like on set behavior,
okay.
uh, like that. More, it wasn't a lot of actual the physical aspect of acting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know, I
What?
don't like those programs are very, very structured and they've been around for a very long time. And
Mm,
that's the problem. You were started 100 years ago. You know, like John Casablanca, you have to Google it, but it's been around a very long time. And so when they first
yeah.
started, like I said, the industry was kind of cookie cutter like that. And it's not anymore, but their programs are still being operated like that. So you're not
Mm,
really you're doing a disservice to the people that are coming into the program. So they probably need to do a little revamping. But,
gotcha.
but
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And I'm sure they have like a lot of clients, so wouldn't it be hard for someone to be noticed if it's like going to an agency that has like thousands of clients, a whole bunch of clients, it's going to be what you're like that small fish in a big pond.
right,
Kind of
absolutely
did a small fish spending a whole bunch of money.
right. They're
Yeah.
very expensive.
Mm,
So yeah, so I would just advise anybody to not go that route.
yeah. 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 Yeah, like I said, just audit some classes. Find out like your local photographers. Just get into some classes, photographers, and research agents that are in your area or in your region. You can do it yourself. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like the internet is like right in our hands and our fingertips, so we don't have to spend as much. And then we got social media. Create your own stuff and put it out there. You can go with the right quality or the right content. Sometimes the quality ain't even all that great that I be seeing, but like with the content, the right time, you can
Yep.
go viral and be seen that way, with your own stuff. So it's really, I don't think it's hard to get started. I mean, to get started, no, it just depends on what level you're trying to reach.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference, because it's sacrifices, that will have to be made.
Right.
And
Oh, yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of stuff.
So
And then it also depends on what industry you want to go in. So if you want to go into theater, that
mhm.
process is different. If you want to do film and television,
Yeah,
so they do both. So you just kind of have to know like exactly what you want to do as an actor,
yeah,
and then
exactly.
yeah. So it's like before you even get started, kind of have an understanding of what you want, how you see your career, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, because then you will place yourself in those spaces and those places. So like if you wanted to do Broadway, you gotta be over
yeah,
there,
or
gotta be in Broadway. You gotta be over there to network and audition so you gotta move to New York or around, that area. If you want to be on, the shows that are filming in Atlanta, then it would be good for you to move to Atlanta. Same thing, California. Just if now I'm not saying that you have to move right away, especially if you're
right.
starting
Mhm.
out, because our auditions now you could self-tape, send them in, and all that stuff. But let's say if they want you, then you would need to start saving money just in case they don't fly you
Right.
out. and you have to provide transportation yourself. You might have to drive. I've had to drive to Virginia a few times, Tennessee, for filming myself. They'll reimburse you at the back end
Right.
sometimes. So, that's have like a savings or some money saved up so that you can, move whenever you need to. But sometimes your agent should be able to negotiate those things for you as well.
Okay. So you said a lot of things that I want to touch on.
Mm-hmm.
Like just going back to the expenses, that was a good one that you mentioned. So travel expenses is an expense you might have to incur as an actor. So let's say for us, like we're in Atlanta, but if they're filming something in New Orleans and we get booked for that role,
Yeah.
they may go ahead and pay us on the back end, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
depending on the film. It's of an independent film, they might not pay you. You may have to, handle your own expenses, but then you get the opportunity to be in this film.
Yeah.
So those are definitely expenses that you have to think about as well. And then you touched on self tapes.
Mm-hmm.
And so for some of our new actors, they may not know what self tapes are. So can you just let us know and break down what self tapes are?
Yeah, so self-tapes now are the actor's audition. Some hate them. I love them. Even one of my group class is called Mastering the Self-Tape, where I help actors learn how to do the self-tape and like master it to where they get the callback or they book the role. So the self-tape is you filming yourself, do the audition, solid background, only you on camera, placing your character to the right or to the left of the camera, recreating the scene, um, editing it as far as like cutting off you turning on your camera and turning it off, right? So just having just the scene there and submitting your scene to your talent to the agent or to the casting director, however, you heard about the audition. So that's a self tape. It's really just you recording the audition and yeah, instead of going in person to do the audition.
Right.
So some people like it, some people don't.
Mm-hmm. It's
The
me.
difference, yeah, it's kind of like, what do you like? Now, me, I like it because I have my own self-tape setup at home.
Mm-hmm.
So, I wake up, brush my teeth, do my thing, and I'm like, boop, in character. I don't have to drive nowhere, so I
Right.
don't have to worry about the gas, that being an expense. But the
Exactly.
thing that some people don't like about that is that you don't get that personal like
Right.
that energy that you get when you walk into a room and you get to see the producers and the director and they get to like really feel you who you are before you jump into character. So that's the thing that's
Mm-hmm.
missed. So yeah, that's the difference. And I wanted to talk about expenses also, something that I wasn't doing but I'm starting to do now, and I heard about it. But when you are traveling to these callbacks, if you have a callback, it's an in-person callback. And for those that don't know, a callback is after you do the audition, they like you. Like, let's say you do your self tape, they like you. Now they want to see you in person. So that's the next audition. That's your callback. So if you have to drive to your callback, if you have to drive to film an independent film, anything with acting, drive to get gas, put gas in your car. I
Mm-hmm.
created an Excel sheet that like, and I'm marking all my expenses.
Mm-hmm.
So then, tax time. These are write-offs for the
Yep.
actor.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you can write
Yeah,
it up.
yeah, write it off. So as far as all of your expenses, your acting headshots, that's an actor's expense. Write
Mm-hmm.
that stuff off. So yeah, just be, mindful of that. The clothes, wardrobe for independent film. Independent films, a lot of times you have to bring your own clothing. They don't have the wardrobe stylist because it's not in their budget.
Right.
Write that stuff off as well. Keep the receipts and yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
That's really, really good. It was something else that you said that I wanted to touch on, but it's gonna come back to me. But also, Braden, I just wanted to make sure that we answered your question because
Yeah.
you can't just be throwing the word scam out. We gotta be careful. What you
Yeah, yeah.
calling me? That's a big fire. So but I just hope that we answered your question. All right, so okay, you're welcome, Brayden. It was something else we talked about. We touched on self tapes.
Mhm.
Um, so for self tapes, because you said you have a self-tape setup.
Yeah.
Which can also incur some expenses. So can you kind of tell us about your setup and some of the things that you'll need for your self-tapes?
Mm-hmm. So, of course, like with anything, if you're starting out, you're just starting out. So I'll just tell you what you would need to start. To start, you need a solid background. That can
Mm-hmm.
be a solid wall. So a gray or blue wall is best.
Yep.
Try to stay away from white. Sometimes with the light reflection, it just kind of flushes you out. Something about white or something, I don't know about all the lighting stuff, but blue or gray, solid wall. If you don't have a solid wall that's blue or gray, you can go on Amazon and get the those pop-up things.
Yep.
Let me see if I can turn it around so you can see. You see right there?
Mm-hmm.
You can get one of those. The one of those and on the other side is gray.
Mm-hmm.
So you get one of those or a curtain, a sheet, anything to tack up, just something solid. Yeah, just a solid backdrop. I use my ring light because it has, and I record from my cell phone. All of my auditions are from my cell phone. No one has ever complained that I use. They don't know what I use. And I have a Samsung S something. It's a good quality
Mm-hmm.
camera. So as long as they can see you and they so good solid backdrop, lighting. It could be a ring light, box lights, or if you're filming in the daytime, if you have like a window, just natural lighting.
Natural light. Yep.
Use that. You don't have to. It don't have to be anything crazy, and make sure they can hear you clearly. You don't necessarily have to have a microphone. The phone the mic from the camera works fine, and just make sure if you're using your cell phone that it's horizontal and not vertical.
Right.
But that's all you need to start. Really, yeah. To start, so you don't have to have a high quality like a Nikon or any of that. Just a
Right.
phone, nice lighting, backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need. Yeah, and then once you start getting into it more, then yeah, you can upgrade your equipment if you want to, but it's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay. Yep.
yeah,
That's perfect. And Danny has actually, she has taught a self-tape workshop with my kids, and
yeah.
did a really great job. So definitely, we'll talk offline about having you back this summer
Okay.
to work with us. We would love that.
Yeah.
Um, oh, another big thing that I want to talk about, because there has been this really big docu-series out called Quiet on Set, and it just kind of talks about some of the exploitation that happens in the industry. Now, this particular docu-series was about children,
Mm.
but this happens in the industry to anybody. It's not just kids that deal with this; adults deal with this as well. So I just want to talk about some things that, adult actors can do to keep themselves safe in the industry. And then also things that parents of child actors can also do to make sure they're keeping their children safe in the industry. So what would be like some suggestions that you have just to make sure you know, just,
Yeah.
or, you're vigilant with, like who you're around and what's going on sets.
Uh-huh. Um, I'm really big on setting your boundaries. And I know we can just say that all the time. You got to set boundaries. You really have to set them and know what they are, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and don't waver on them. Don't be desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because when you're desperate, you will fall for anything. And you're like blind in this industry now because you're just so desperate. I want this part so bad. I would do anything for it. I've had some, maybe like early 20s. And I'm sure there's those that are older that are like, I would do anything to be famous, right? We're not even talking about just acting now. It's like they just want to be famous. So you got to know, why are you doing it? And these are questions to ask yourself, right? Why do I want to do
Mm-hmm.
this? How to like how do I not be desperate? Or if I am desperate, why am I desperate? Ask yourself these questions first, internally. And these are for my adults. I know for, kids, it will be a little different because now you're dealing with the parents, are the parents desperate for their kids? It's just things like that.
Mhm.
But as I could speak to the adults, it's like really set your boundaries. Know, why am I doing
Mhm.
this? What will I not do? Will I do nudes? And if not, then don't do them. Don't. They could throw $1 million at you.
Mhm.
You got to stand on your no,
Mhm.
because once you accept that you've done the nude, they got their money, you got your $1 million that could be spent like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, now it's out there. What else? I mean, it's going to be hard for you to say no. If you said yes to something that you was gonna say no to, so it's like, how you can't even trust yourself, really.
Right.
um but you got to think about, like, why do I want to get it? Why do I want to do this? And then once you really figure out why you want to do it and who you are, then um I think those incidences won't, they may come, but you won't be tempted, or you won't be taken advantage
Right.
of. You wouldn't want to work with that person that's probably, making these sexual advances or whatever on you. You may get, like I said, you may be put into that situation,
Mhm.
but you recognize what it is. And it's like, you know what? I don't want to be on the project that bad.
Right.
I don't want to, no. So yeah, just really, it's a lot of self-discovery. Learn you first.
Right.
And that's with acting
Right.
too. You got to know who you are before you can jump into another character, or you're going to get lost in that character and take on their issues and problems as if it's yours. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Hopefully I answered your question, but I think
No,
it starts with you knowing who you are,
absolutely.
and then like, you see the signs, you see the red flags.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect. Like, come into the industry already knowing your boundaries,
Yeah.
having your boundaries, knowing what you're comfortable with. And of course, as you go along, those boundaries may change, but make sure they change because you want them to change and not because you're pressured to change them. You know what I'm saying? Because if they do come to you and they say, we want you to do this scene, and, if you're not comfortable, if you say no, there is a possibility that you may be replaced. That's just
Mm-hmm.
of the game, but you have to be okay with that,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, all you have, are your morals. But
Mm-hmm.
just know, like you said, know yourself. Is about knowing yourself. What are you comfortable with? What are you not comfortable with? And then, like I said, if those boundaries change, just make sure it's because you want them to change,
Mm-hmm.
not because you.
Yeah. And you know what? It comes like right when you're on set. I've had two experiences where I'm actually on set. It's not like I'm in a trailer, getting ready to perform, or it's like a week or a day before I have to act. I'm
Mhm.
actually on set. I've done the scene quite a few times. Right when the director's getting ready to say action, a producer or someone would come up and be like, "Hey, do you mind doing?" It's like that. When everyone's looking at you for you to say yes or no.
Mhm.
So you gotta know what your boundaries are, because it will come. Like, they will
Yep.
hit you with a, "You want me to do what?" Like, right there on the spot. And then you start to feel guilty, like, well, if I say no, then I'm gonna slow everything down, and but you let your no be no and your yes be your yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Gotta stand on that.
Hmm.
That is so good. So another thing I wanted to touch on is dealing with rejection. Because as you're gonna hear a lot of no's before you hear that yes, and sometimes you may jump into it and you hear a lot of yeses, and then the yeses stop or they slow down, and then you got to pivot. Um, so how do you deal with rejection as an actor, and then explain kind of like what rejection looks like in the industry, because there are a lot of forms of rejection, and it's not always just you didn't get this part, because we
Hmm.
the people who were at one point they were on top, and then we don't see them anymore, and it's like, what happened? So it's
Yeah.
so many ups and downs to the industry. So can you just speak on that a little bit and your experience?
Yeah. Yeah, so what rejection looks like in acting is silence. So that's your first, your first introduction to rejection in acting is you do an
Right.
audition, you like, oh man, I killed it. I know they're gonna call me back.
Yep.
A day goes, a week goes, a month goes, you don't hear nothing. They're not gonna tell you you didn't get
Right.
the part.
Right.
Okay, you're just not gonna hear nothing.
Yeah.
So, so that is like one of the first signs of rejection in this industry. You just don't hear nothing. But then you do sometimes get the emails that say we went another direction.
Hmm.
So honestly, me, I prefer them not to even hit me up with that because if I see an email that comes from them, I'm like, okay, maybe they got my hopes up again.
Right.
Maybe I got it, and I open it up. We went with we went another direction. I'm like, y'all didn't have to send me this. So but how do I deal with that? So after I do my audition, my self tape or my callback, I got this. I heard Michael B. Jordan say this after his auditions. He take the sides, and the sides are the part of the scene that they want you to do. Like they send you like a part of the script that they want you to perform. He takes those sides, he rips them up, throws it away.
Mhm.
So I took that on after I do my audition in my self tape space, right? I take my sides and I throw it away. That just kind of it kind of like symbolizes or it's a metaphor for like leaving it alone. Like now I'm moving on to the next. What's
Right.
next? So that's how I deal with that. Another thing is like you got to know that what's for you is for you. If
Hmm.
you are meant to get the role, you will get it. You may want it really bad. There's a lot of roles that I wanted so bad, but if I didn't hear anything, I was like, okay, that wasn't for me.
Hmm.
And you just have to accept it. Like that wasn't the route I was supposed to go. Um, but just know though that every time you are auditioning or performing, you are performing. That's part of acting.
Right.
Like that's what we do. We act. So when you're doing your self tape, don't think of it as oh, I got to audition. I have to do an audition. Think
Hmm.
of it as I get to recreate a scene. I'm
Right.
about to just go home. I'm about to go and act. So take the pressure off of yourself.
Right.
Just take the pressure off yourself and just take it as I'm having fun. I wanted to act. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing it for free right now because I don't have the role. I'm doing it for free, but
Hmm.
this is part of it. So that's part of rejection. And then another part of rejection, sometimes we don't know. Like I can audition and they'll see me and they're like, she's natural.
Hmm.
Mm, I don't know if I want someone with a fro, And that I can't take that personal. That's more about them than it is about me,
Right.
I mean, because I have done roles with my fro, So again, it's kind of like a preference, like, oh, she's too dark skinned, she's too light skinned, her lips are too big, her nose is too,
Right.
some things is just out of our control. And again, if you don't get it,
Hmm.
then it just not it wasn't for you anyway. You could have been protected from something. I look at it like that too.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoo, I think I was probably protected from something. I didn't get that role. It was probably some dark stuff going on that set, or some things I didn't need to be around. So
Yeah.
what's for you is for you.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm the same way. Like I look at like rejection as God's protection. So
Mm-hmm.
if I don't get it, okay, it wasn't for
Yeah.
me. For
Yeah.
whatever might not be any reason. It might just mean that a better opportunity is ahead. And if I, get this opportunity, I'm gonna miss out on something else. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
always look at it as not rejection, but redirection.
Yeah. Amen.
So yeah, that's perfect. And another thing that you touched on was good was sometimes you can go into an audition and you can be bombed. Like it's amazing. Like you walked out like I know I killed that.
Mm-hmm.
But your look, the casting director may say, wow, like she's an amazing actress, but we're looking for somebody taller. We're looking for somebody slimmer. We're looking for this. We're looking for that. It may not be anything that you can change. So you
Yeah.
have to understand that as well. Every time that you don't get a role, it doesn't mean that you didn't do your part. It's so
Mm-hmm.
many variables. Like it's so many things that are changing in the industry, even before the project is even filmed. It's so much stuff that has to go on behind the scenes to even get to that part.
Yeah.
So you know, director could have, in his mind, could have wanted the character to look a certain way. But then he may wake up one day and say, you know what, actually, you know, we wanted to cast an African American actress. Now we want a Caucasian, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's nothing you can do about that. So you
Exactly.
just kind of the game. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, it is. So it's important to have a life outside of just acting.
Yes.
That was a big
Yeah.
one for me. It was like it was acting, acting, acting. That's all I want to do is just act. But then there's like a slow period where you don't have any auditions or you don't book nothing, and then you get into this depressed thing because like I'm not living in my purpose. You know, that's how you feel. Like I'm not doing it. It's been years and I still haven't gotten that role. So you have to have a life outside of acting. What are some other things that you enjoy doing? If you enjoy reading, if you start your own business, write your own plays or your own shows, you know, so then when that time comes, you know, you get around a film crew, like, you know what, I got a script.
Mm-hmm.
Let's film this. Star in your own
Right.
stuff. So yeah, that's how you can, you know, deal with rejection also. They don't like you, okay, I'm gonna write my own thing.
Right.
Do
Right.
my own thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like everybody, we can create right on our phones. So you can start creating your own projects. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's so easy now. So when you're in between those waiting periods, like you said, find something to do. You know, you need to have a hobby. You need something to, you know, put that focus and energy to. You don't want to just be sitting at home waiting on the phone to ring and to come up. Like, live your life, you know?
Yes.
Make you a better
Yes.
actor when you live in life and you're going through experience. So, yeah.
Yes, I was just about to say that our experiences is what we need, what we bring into our acting. So it's
Right.
like you got to experience life.
Yes. So please
Mm-hmm.
pull your hair out, you know, after these auditions. And I think I don't know if it was Michael B. Jordan, but I feel like I heard somebody else say that too. Like after the audition, like once they leave that parking lot, it's done. Like they don't think about it. They don't. It's done. It's like it never happened. So
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah, you got to do that. You got to leave it alone. It's like at that moment you're in a relationship with, you know, it's like you don't go back to the ex,
right,
okay? Well, I mean, I guess in the case of acting, if they call you and you book
right,
it, I guess you got it. Y'all getting married now.
right, right. To the next scene, that divorce. Right, right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That is good. That is good. All right. So I also wanted to touch on, because this is what everybody wants to know when they become an actor. How do I get an agent? All right. Representation. Okay. So that is a big, big thing. How do I get an agent? How do I get representation? What should I look for in an agent?
Mm.
Um, yeah. So, and I know we spoke earlier about your agent does not get paid until you get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go into an agency and they say it's going to cost $5,000 for us to represent you, run. It's
Right.
a scam. All right. So run. All right. So yeah, they don't get paid until you get paid. And they can only take a certain percentage
Mm-hmm.
from whatever you make. And
Yeah.
I want to say I don't take any more than 15%.
Yeah, it's as much as 20. As much
20.
as
Okay.
20. I think it depends. It's like either because I know mine is it's going to be either 10% or 20%. That depends on if it's a non-union or a SAG project. That would
Right.
depend on how much they take. But yeah, like you said, like they don't get paid until you get paid.
Right.
And that's why it's so important to have all your stuff together before you start seeking an agent,
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to want to represent someone that's going to bring them some money.
Right.
So if you don't have your self tape game up, and again, you don't have to have your own self tape in your home. You can go to acting studios that have a self tape, and that's another expense
Yep.
though. So that can be anywhere from like $15 to $45 or so, depending on how much time
Mm-hmm.
you need. But with that, you better make sure you have your lines memorized and you're ready, because as the time is ticking,
Yep.
the money is ticking up too. Um, so so yeah, but make sure you're ready before you go to your agent with the acting headshot, and knowing how to do self tapes. Some like to see a resume. So with the classes that you're taking, make sure you're marking the classes. put all the skills that you have. If you speak Spanish, if you can do a Southern accent, this is for those that are just getting started that haven't done any projects.
Right.
Your skills can help you as well. So all your skills, list all of those, and then start doing like student films, just get into some things. So get on those casting sites like Actors Access. Actors Access is a big one. So if you're looking for an agent, make sure you at least have that one, especially if you're in the Southeast region, because agents use Actors Access.
Yep.
Actors Access, that's another expense though, but you can jump on. I know I'm throwing out the expenses for those that got the like, how much? Yeah, like how much? So Actors Access, you can sign on free, but when you submit for, let's say you want to see if you qualify, or you're submitting for an audition, then you will have to pay, and that's probably around like $2 every audition that you're wanting to submit for, but it's no guarantee that they're going to see you.
Right.
So I tell people, if you save up, I think it's like $60 a year, just save up that $60, pay the $60, you have unlimited audition submissions. Okay. And you upload, I think it's 2 free photos, and then after that you have to pay. So it's worth it, especially if you are taking it serious. So get on Actors Access, look for student films, get in some student films, get your footage. It may not be the best quality, because they're students too, but at least you have something. Yeah, you have something, because the agency may want to see a demo reel also. They may want to see that. So, it's collecting all your footage.
Demo reels. Since you mentioned demo reels, can you let us know what it is?
Yeah, so demo reel is a collective of your acting experience, your work on video. So you chopping up, all your scenes, the best part of your scenes with you talking, not the other person all up in the camera. They're not trying to get the agent. With you talking, chop those up, put it together. That's your demo reel. Now, they do also have Actors Access. They have other spaces for other clips. So let's say you you've done work where you're like in an authoritative figure, a police officer, a lawyer, something like that. You can put all of those together, and these are your types. If you do comedy, you can put your comedy clips together, and these are your types. Now, the reason for this is when you are submitting for roles, and they say, we're looking for a female 30s that can play a mom. Don't send them you playing a drug addict. Don't send them that clip. It ain't no need for them to see that. They want to see your mom characters, so you could just send them your mom clips. So that's the difference between clips and demo reels. Now, how do you get these? Starting off, again, student films, getting with your friends, someone that has a good camera that know how to edit something, real quick.
Yep.
Just act. They just need to see you on camera. Just act. I've seen some people, when they have their self-tape, they will do monologues, just something to show. Now, when you start booking some good stuff, you will start taking all those other things down and then using your good quality things. But expenses for that is like, if you have a camera, good camera, you can write yourself, you have your own editing equipment, you can do it can be free. Editing, because that's part of your self-tape, right? I'm all over the place, but it's like coming out. When it comes to editing, I edit everything on my phone also. Now, I have an Android, and I use Power Director. I love it. Now, Power Director, you can use that, but you want to get that watermark off of your edited videos. So I pay, it's $3.99 a month. Power Director, y'all ain't paying me to promote y'all right now, but it's a good editing program that I use. I'm on an Android. It's Power Director, $3.99 a month. If you edit, I edit all the time, then it's worth it. It's worth it. So that's another expense. Yeah. So that's demo reels. Hopefully I answered, questions about demo reels that you possibly would need when you see an agent. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So I feel like there was more to the agent. Hold on, let me see. There's acting headshots, have acting headshots,
Headshot.
demo reel, resume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So have all these things before you approach the agent.
Right.
Oh, I think he's asked, how do you find them or
Right.
something like that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you go to find a reputable agency?
Gotcha. Um, there's quite a few ways of doing this. Now, I've had within my 15-year journey, I've had four
Mm-hmm.
agents, and all of these agents, no, three of them I looked for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my first one I got through an acting class. So if you guys jump into an acting class,
Mm-hmm.
you never know who comes to the class.
Right.
The class I was in, my instructor was represented by a known agency here in Atlanta. So he had the agency come out.
Mm-hmm.
I had I think he told us that they were coming. I had all my stuff together. I had my acting headshot and I had my resume. So when they came, they were like, and we act in front of them. He's like, do you have your, anything that I can just take back to the office? It was only three of us out of maybe 20 students in that class
Oh
that
wow.
were ready.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
so
the point. Just want to stop you there. Just say this to be prepared. Always
mhm.
prepare. So anytime you go to acting class, a network or mixer for acting or film, make sure you have some headshots on you or like
Mhm.
a business card or something that you can give out. So just always be prepared because you never know who you might run into.
Yeah. Yeah, and everything is digital now. So even if you have your Instagram account set up to where it looks like you are an
Right.
actor, or you're professional and not just like your whole family on there. They're like, I don't think you act at all. Like, because you can be somewhere, it's like, oh yeah, this is my Instagram
Mm-hmm.
page. You know
Yep.
that, yeah, it could be as easy as that too. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, where was I? It's so much information. I'm telling you, I could go on and on about this.
We gotta have the part. We're gonna have a part two for y'all because it's so much.
So much,
It is
so much.
so much. So we have to do a part two for sure. Part
Yeah, but I am going to say with the agent, if you're looking for an agent, you can easily just Google agencies near you in your area, go to their page and see what their submission process is like. They will tell you what they're looking for.
right.
And it tells you if they're looking now or if they come back in 6 months or whatever it is. But that's, it's as easy as just going on their website and just seeing what they require.
Right. And
Yeah,
some agencies take you based off referrals. So you
true.
can't even like self submit. Some you gotta know somebody that knows somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So just
Yeah.
the process because you don't want to reach out to them and they don't take self submissions because then they're gonna take it as well. Number one, you don't know how to follow instructions. You can't read,
Mm-hmm.
so that's already turned them off. So you just want to make sure that when you go on these websites to read all the fine prints
Yeah.
before you
Yeah.
or reach out to them. Yeah, because
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
they're really
Exactly. So.
um,
hmm
yeah.
Yeah, so definitely get into an acting class because, like I said, with my first agent, I'm sure my acting coach was like, "Hey, I got some students that are ready for representation. So get into an acting class and network with those other actors that do have representation and see like who you with, who represents you, and kind of go from there."
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm always, when I'm coaching, if I see someone that's like ready and my agent needs that type,
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with sending them over as long as they have all their
Right,
stuff
right.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're gonna just off of what you just said quickly. So because a lot of agencies they don't sign people who have the same type
Mm.
look. So like if you are tall, slender, blonde, blue eyes, blue eyes, blonde hair, they may have somebody else that they're already signed to the agency that looks very similar to you. Y'all have the same look. So they
Yeah.
may say, can't sign you right now. We already have somebody, on our team that looks very similar to you. So it
Yeah.
could just be,
And
like that.
yeah. And that's why those skills are so important. You be like, hey, you might have someone that look, similar to me, but do they speak Spanish?
Right.
You know?
Yep.
So yeah, work on those skills. How can you stand out? Because there's gonna be a lot of blonde hair, blue eyed girls, but do they double dutch?
Right.
Do they, like look like things like that? So what is that thing in
Right.
you that has you stand out, amongst everyone else that could possibly look like you?
Yep. And a lot of those things are natural. You
Mm-hmm.
just naturally are musically gifted. You might say, well, what does that have to do with acting? Well, everything, Look at movies like Drumline. I don't even
Yeah.
know and knew how to play the drum, but whatever.
Uh-huh.
That's his way, but
Yep.
so imagine, it might be a film and they're looking for somebody that really knows how to play a musical instrument,
Mm-hmm.
and so any skill that you have, make sure you put it on your resume. No skill is too small or minute. So make sure you put all your skills
Yep.
on your, but yeah,
Exactly.
so that is
Exactly.
awesome. Also, guys, if you guys have any questions, we only have 10 more minutes on the live. This went by so fast. So if y'all
Right.
questions, please drop your questions. Any questions, we are here to answer. It's so much it's so much information. We definitely got to do a part two
Yeah.
for sure. We got to do a part two.
Yes.
So much information because
Absolutely.
when you explain something, then we start talking about self tapes. You got to explain what a self tape is. You got to explain setup. So but it's a lot. But honestly, I feel like, just to kind of recap on everything that we talked about today, as a
Mm-hmm.
beginner, number one, you just want to be prepared. Make sure you have your headshots. Make sure you have your resume. Know how to structure your resume. We know that, you're not going to have a lot of experience on there, but start with taking the acting classes. That's very important. They want to see that you have some type of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Start with training and then your special skills. Get connected with these independent industries, these, like you said, student films.
Yeah.
Get connected with those communities to start off, because I think sometimes people, they look at the top and that's where they want to go, but you got to start at the bottom.
And those students, they're the next directors and producers anyway.
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of talent coming out of these schools and so many like super talented independent filmmakers. So get connected with them. Don't just, oh no, I don't know who that is. Don't worry about all
Mhm.
that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know who you are, baby. So, be humble. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Never think any project is too small.
Mm-hmm.
Any project is too small. And then you don't even know who you might meet on set,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just go to networking events. I mean, so many people just going to different, events and just staying connected to the entertainment community. I think it's just really important.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then
Mm-hmm.
having people who are doing what you're doing, who know what you're going through,
Yeah.
because, whew, like I said, it can be a lot. So just, having people that understand, what's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. And having, you just got to remember to have fun and find your passion in it, because like we've been doing it for so long. Like my journey's been on and off with acting for 15
Mm-hmm.
years. That's a long time for people to, like, you guys are like, what, you've been doing 15 years and I haven't seen you in anything, and that could be a little depressing.
Yeah.
Or
What you been in?
exactly. That. Oh, I hate that question. I hate that question. Do I have I seen
Have I
you
seen? No. Yeah.
in anything? Yeah. So you really have to like know your why. Why am I doing this? So then nothing could like knock you off. Just because you didn't get the part, you want to quit now. It's like,
Yep.
yeah, just know your why. Everyone has a purpose and a reason for why you have that desire in you.
Right.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm gonna check. I don't think we have any questions, but I want to check. Okay, I just want to double check. But absolutely, knowing your why is super duper important. Super duper
Mm-hmm.
that I ask all my students, like, why do
Okay.
you, you know, because
Yeah.
people just see the glitz and the glamour, and it's so appealing, but it's so much more that comes with this industry. So if you're doing it just for the money, if you're doing it for the fame, you're gonna have a long road ahead of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to ask you because it's a little different, right? Because I speak directly to the adult actor,
Mm-hmm.
but you have the child and the
Mm-hmm.
parent. So with that knowing your why, does that kind of like, is there like a gray area, like when the parent really wants it and the child is like,
Mm-hmm.
like, is there something you can say to the parents that's like want the kid to have it so bad, or what does that look like?
Well, it's not great for me because I know how parents can be,
Yeah.
but it's like your child doesn't want to be here. So parents, like, I love your child, but I'm not working with children that do not want to do this because it's a waste of my time and your money. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why, like you said, with auditing a class, I let everybody come in and sit in on a class first.
Yeah.
It's kids, because I do know that some of them do want to be there, and you can tell the difference between the kids that really do want to be there and the ones that don't. And if
Mm-hmm.
you are making your child do anything that they don't want to do, it is not good for anybody. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I just tell the parents, like, maybe, hey, take a breather, maybe try again next year, just let your child find their way to acting. If your child wants to do this, trust me, they will tell you. Like, your child is going to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So don't try to force it on them. A lot of people are like, oh my God, my child has a big personality. That's amazing. You know, they're an actor,
Yeah.
you know? So just, and that's why I say, well, come and let your child try it, see how they like the first class. And if they really like it, then we can go from there. If not, hey, they tried it. It's not their thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm honest with my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew, whew. I commend you. I'm like, I just deal with the adult actor. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you should stay behind the camera. No, I'm
Right.
playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
But
you do have a question.
yes, uh Braden said, how much are the prices for the Young Actors Studio? All right, so for the Young Actors Studio, so we're doing a summer workshop series that is going to kick off June 8th. All right, and it's going to be 5 workshops. So you can kind of create your own packet. You can do individual workshops. All workshops are $25, or you can do the entire workshop package. So you can do all 5 workshops, and that's $125. So we have workshops on. Our first workshop is on improv. We have a workshop on character building. We have one on script analysis, which is we break down and show the kids how to read scripts. We have one on self tapes that hopefully Miss Danny will be a part of this year. And we also do on-site headshots. Now the headshots are an additional fee. It's $75 for the headshots. So if you want to do like all workshops for 125, and then you want to add on the headshots at an additional $75, that is $200 for the entire package. And like I said, or if you just want to do one of the workshops and you want to do the headshots, it's just totally up to you. Kind of, do what works best for you and what works best for your schedule. So, but yeah, you can find all prices, all information on One for All YoungActorsStudio.com. And the 4 is the number 4, the numeric 4. The numeric 4. So, yep, so you can find all information. And then, Danny, if they want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
Yeah, everywhere, all social media platforms at Action Applied Acting. The website, actionappliedacting.com. All the classes are there. I host a monthly monologue Zoom party where all the actors come together. We just do monologues and just have a party. We had one yesterday. The next one is May 18th, Saturday, 12 p.m. So if you want to just come out and perform a monologue, we do that also.
Yeah. The monologue parties are really fun too. They're really super fun. So,
Yeah.
They're
And
all
we have a good time.
yeah. So that might be one of our next joint projects. Maybe do like a
Mhm.
one for all action apply acting monologue party. Have the young ones get in on a party.
Yeah.
You know, the talent. So that would be super super dope. But
Hmm.
yeah. So any other final words of wisdom or advice for our beginning actors?
I say just if this is something you want to do, just start. Just start. And I say that because I was working with the actress. She was like holding off, like, I don't know if I'm ready to start auditioning. I don't know. But I was working with her. I was like, girl, you're ready. So she put that fear aside and she got on Actors Access and started submitting for auditions. She had like 8 auditions in 1 week.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, dang, that's more than what I
Yeah.
got. So yeah, I was like, if it's for you, it's for you.
Mm.
If you have that desire, that urge to get started, go ahead and get started. Of course, there's going to be some bumps and things along the way, a little bit of rejection here or there, but just you don't know until you try it. So get with the acting coach. If it's not myself or Hannah, find somebody. Just get started, and yeah, just get started.
That's yeah. That's do like Nike say, just do it. Just go ahead. You
Hmm.
know, because you never really know. Like she was, like your actress, she was, you know, fearful because it's something new. It can seem so intimidating,
Hmm.
and it can. But you know, you just got to get out there and you just got to do it.
Yeah.
And
Just start doing with background work.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, do some background work.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Hmm.
yep. That's so true. Because you can actually be on set. You can be in the background. You don't have to learn any lines. You get paid. You get free food. You know
Hmm.
what
Yeah, you get to meet some
I mean?
celebrities, you know.
Celebrities. I met quite a few on set, so you just
Hmm.
get to talk to people, network. Yeah,
Yeah.
so really good place to start. So we're gonna have a part two. We're gonna deep
Yeah.
dive more into that stuff on part two. But thank you everybody for joining us. I appreciate you guys for spending your Sunday evening with us. Yeah, if you have any more questions that you want to ask me or Danny offline, again, you can reach out to me on Instagram at One for All Young Actors Studio. And Danny, tell them again where they can reach you.
Action applied acting.
And apply acting. All right, we appreciate you guys. Thank y'all, and we will be back with a part two. So y'all stay tuned. All
All right, y'all.
right, thank you,
You're
Danny.
welcome.
Good
All
night.
right. Good night.